DJ Durkin is building an elite defense at Auburn. Let's talk about it on this live edition of the Uptempo podcast. Yes, sir. Auburn family, Uptempo game, man. Welcome into our weekly Tuesday night live edition of the Uptempo podcast. We'll talk a little defense tonight, Blake. I think that DJ Durkin is doing one hell of a job. I think people out there are starting to take notice. Like, these stats are pretty good. Oh, and by the way, we're playing nothing but, as you say, puppies. And we've been talking about it in the game day group chat since the game Saturday night. Think the puppies are starting to grow up, man. Think starting to grow up, and they're starting to become dogs right before our eyes, brother.
That's a fact, and we go to that goal line stand, man, and you hear that six underclassmen were on the field, six freshmen were on the field on that play, and you had a true sophomore actually get the pick, and DJ Durkin chased that man down the field into the end zone, and you can see that this defense is still having fun. They're still making plays. They're getting after it. I slung a tweet out there that said, guys are still playing hard, guys are still making plays. Coaches are still coaching hard, and coaches are still getting after these players and coaching them hard. And you can tell that, man. You can tell players are smiling. They're interacting with coaches. It's all positive vibes. I really like what DJ Durkin has done. And even last Saturday night, we were pretty dang good on third down. You didn't see a whole lot of bring three, drop eight. And so I think we're slowly starting to get there. You're starting to see DJ kind of get in a groove, and really and truly, when DJ gets his guys in here, another class, and that 25 class gets on campus, I think you could probably see him be a little bit more aggressive early in the season when he gets more comfortable. Because we kind of been talking about Eugene and it's taken him a little while to get going. Had a great game Saturday night. I thought he played his ass off, if we're being honest. But it took him a little while because maybe he doesn't fit what DJ's trying to do. Maybe he's out of, he's out of, I don't want to say out of position, but, he's not being used right in DJ's system. Maybe that could be it, I think the more DJ gets his guys in here, the more you're going to see Auburn fly around to the football and get to the quarterback and TFLs and all that good stuff, man. Because you're seeing it now from the puppies, and I think we could be, really, really good on defense in the next year, but I want to say 2 years. Just because the talent that we're recruiting and we're bringing in and that you're seeing on the field right now, Dustin. So I'm pleased with everything Durkin's doing, man.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. I agree with you. And it's hard to not look at these guys that are making these plays and project forward and say, okay, what are they going to be next year? What are they going to be the year after that? And I mean, because we see the jump that a guy like Keldric Faulk has made.
Yep.
Kay and Lee's kind of had an up and down year. But boy, he steps up and makes a play, and I think he's been playing better as of late. And I want to say this too, man. Kentucky made some of these catches on the first play of the drive, and y'all correct me in the chat if I'm wrong, Blake. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems to me like there's a lot of times, and I know our DBs, I'm not saying they haven't been out of position, like that Cal game, they could not get their head around. I get all that. Mm-hmm. But there were some times where I'm just like, that's just a hell of a catch. And I feel like there's been about 10 of those on us this year. These like sideline toe tap, like the one on Kinsley Faustin, he could have been in a little bit of better position, but like it just feels like those happen to us once or twice a game where I'm looking and I'm like, well, the DB could have played a little bit better, but that's just a great catch. I think this seems to me like there's been a lot of those this year. But when I look at the stats, I'm saying, look, 7th in the nation in red zone defense, pretty damn solid. 25th in rushing defense, that's been steadily improving. 31st in total defense. And then you're 58th in passing yards allowed. But if you go back to after that Arkansas game, you were down there in the triple-digit region of that. So it kind of makes sense, proof of concept, that every week we've gone up and gotten better in pass defense as well. as guys like Caleb Harris become more comfortable, guys like Sylvester Smith become more comfortable. We've seen Jay Crawford taking on this role. We're going to talk about Jay in just a second. But, yeah, I just think that all these numbers, man, I mean, 7th in red zone defense, 25th in rushing defense, still 31st in total defense, taking everything into account, total defense. You're 31st in total defense, playing more freshmen than any other defense in the country, dude.
Yep.
And that's true freshmen. The other two important pieces are true sophomores.
Yep.
So it's hard to not look at it and say, okay, I'm getting excited here. And the staff, man, I think the defensive staff has done a good job of developing guys. There's a lot of guys we can look at and say that guy is getting better as the season's gone on, or that guy's in year 2 and he's getting better. I know that some of the defensive staff has changed, but some of those guys, like the Josh Aldridge and those guys, are all left over from last year as well. So for me, Blake, I think the next step for this defense is the linebackers maturing. We haven't seen a whole lot of DJ Barber this year. And if me and you both last year said, hey, our whole joke was tackling fuel, right? We said DJ Barber's that dude, but he's also like a redshirt guy. Like, you're going to see DJ Barber in the future, but we never claimed that he was going to come in as a freshman and be that guy. He always was a guy, and it's not a knock on him. Like, what we're doing right now is super unique, playing all this freshman. A lot of times, even a guy like that, it's gonna take some time. You're seeing DeMarcus Reddick, like, he reminds me so much of Malcolm Simmons on the offensive side of the ball, where it's like, boy, once you get it all figured out, because I can see that you don't have it quite figured out yet. I see the raw ability, but I still see you being so athletic, you run past the guy, and Hugh talked about, we're going to talk about the defense side of the night, but Hugh talked about the interception actually never would have happened if Malcolm Simmons didn't run the wrong route on the play. And then Peyton had to kind of check off, go somewhere else, this whole deal. So, like, and that happens with young cats. It's just going to be a thing. But every week you're seeing these guys improve. And Blake, we got to talk about the young guy that's really, really kind of getting a lot of attention lately, Jaylin Crawford, the freshman cornerback. I go back to one of the All-American games that him and Cam played at. And all week, the highlights are coming out of him and Cam Coleman going back and forth. And Jaylin was shutting down Cam one play, and Cam was coming back and getting him the next play. And it was just like, boy, we got two dogs right here. Jay Crawford was named the 24/7 True Freshman of the Week, the On3 True Freshman of the Week. And Pro Football Focus had him as the number 1 rated true freshman defender, and he made the SEC Team of the Week for Pro Football Focus. And that's not just freshmen, that's just the entire defense, because he graded out as one of the best defenders in the entire conference, regardless of classification. So, Blake, just talk about Jaylin Crawford. I mean, he hadn't played a lot of football, but he didn't even get on the field until a couple games ago, it feels like. And he's already getting all these accolades, and we see him literally getting better every single down, it feels like.
I'm going to go ahead and say it. NFL player.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
The hips, man. Hey, playing DB, you got to be good in them hips. And Jaylin Crawford is that guy. I'll tell you another thing I like as well is Jaylin's ability to get his head around to the football. The other night, there was a play. A lot of guys get called for PI in that situation. Jaylin gets the head around, makes a solid play to knock the ball away. He is an elite defender, man. I tell you what, that pick, that was also a big momentum boost for Auburn.
Thanks.
And this kid's a freshman coming straight in and making plays, finding his way on the field. I'm a big fan of Jaylin Crawford. I also like his ability to tackle as a true freshman. You're seeing a lot of these cats on the Auburn defense not afraid to come up and put a hat on somebody. I'm very pleased with Jaylin Crawford. I think we have some fun times with 23 ahead of us, and DBU is still alive, Dustin. Like you always like to say, man, DBU lives on, and you can use that in recruiting to some of these DBs that we're in battles for, and they might be taking other visits. Why not Auburn? Because you can get to the pros playing DB at Auburn. You can get to the NFL draft and get drafted out of Auburn playing defensive back. So why not us? Another room that is going to be absolutely stacked for Auburn. Like I said, not only next year, but the next and the next and so on, man. And so an athletic guy, like I said, love the physicality, love the way he plays, love the hips, love him getting his head around, making plays. and also showing the hands, man. Jaylin Crawford not letting one get away from him, going up and high pointing it and picking the ball off, and a big momentum boost for the Auburn Tigers, Dustin.
Me and you always talk about needing the playmakers on the offensive side of the ball, the guys
Yep.
that can turn the 7-yard play into a 47-yard play.
Yep.
He's that on defense. I mean, he didn't get that ball versus Missouri,
Yep.
but that was almost a sick play. And before his Auburn career is over, Jaylin Crawford is going to have a hell of a highlight reel. He's going to make a couple of filthy interceptions. You can just see it happening. Yeah, and he's just a guy that I can already kind of see, like, and some guys just have this ability, man. They just know when it's time. I think back to my guy Rondé Barber for the Bucks. Great player, solid player. But the reason why Rondé's in the Hall of Fame is because he made plays when he had to make them. And there's so many game-winning interceptions, game-winning forced fumbles from Rondé Barber, and I'm seeing that same ability in Jaylin, and you just can't teach it, man. You just can't teach that dog mentality, that playmaking ability. And when you talk about coming up and not scared to hit somebody, boy, that's from the cornerback position. That's huge. It's almost like a whole nother weapon in itself. Because if a guy does happen to get outside, and all of a sudden you got guys that aren't scared to come up there and make something happen, you think back to a guy like Jamel Dean, it can really help you out. And the thing with that is, Blake, I got news for you, because we do these member pods and we break down all the film of everybody that comes in. Dante Core, same thing. Got several forced fumbles. Loves to come up and hit. We can go on and on about the DBs. There's not a player, whether he's on the offensive side of the ball or the defensive side of the ball, committed to Auburn in this current class, that isn't physical as hell. And that's the same thing as last year. Since this staff has shown up, there's a certain thing that they're not getting guys that are scared of contact. There's a certain kind of athlete, there's a certain kind of mentality on both sides of the ball that Hugh Freeze is recruiting. And I'm not surprised that Wesley McGriff has got a 5-star player like Jaylin Crawford getting better every single week. This is why your assistant coaches are so important. This is why keeping Coach Crime was so important for this reason right here, and teaming him up. Think about these two coaches we got, Blake. We don't have a graphic made for Caleb Harris, but my God, Caleb Harris is balling. He's absolutely balling. When we should probably do an award at the end of the year for Freshman Defensive Player of the Year. And that's going to be a fun race, because Malik Block has had a solid body of work. Jalen's putting on a body of work. Caleb's putting on a body of work. Maybe DeMarcus makes some big plays and throws his name in the hat. Like, just thinking about that, that's going to be a fun race, man. Charles Kelly, coaching the safeties. Look what he's doing with Caleb Harris. Coach Wesley McGriff, coaching the corners. Look what he's doing here with our guy, Jaylin Crawford. So it's really, really exciting, man. And then look over at their head guy, DJ Durkin, kind of knowing where to put them in all these pieces and making the right moves. And look, let's even go back to a guy like Champ Anthony, Blake. They moved him from the slot to the outside corner, and he had the best quarter of his career before he tore his knee up. I mean, he was absolutely balling out. They saw something in practice, and they put it in there, and it worked. It worked until the unfortunate injury happened. So when you look at the proof of concept on the defensive side of the ball, and you look at trust, a lot of people, and I've probably said this too. You could probably go cut a clip of me saying this and throw it back in my face and call me a hypocrite. I'm trying to not say things like, I have faith in Hugh Freeze, I have faith in this guy, or this guy, before they've proven something to me. So what I'm trying to say with Hugh and the offensive guys is it's not that I don't think you're going to get it right, but I don't necessarily have faith in you. Doesn't mean I don't I don't not believe in you. Am I making sense here? But like, you got to show. I'm going to have blind faith. We're kind of at the point to where these guys, as far as the defensive side of the ball, I got faith in you. Like, you're showing me that you can plug and play guys, that you're making the right moves, that guys are developing underneath your system. So it's really exciting. All that's left for this defense to turn the corner, Blake, is get those linebacker play up to where it needs to be. And I think you got young cats in there that are going to do that. We haven't seen Joe Phillips yet. A young guy, all the talent in the world. We had to beat Kirby Smart several times. Kirby, get off our guy Joe to ultimately get him to Auburn. You haven't seen him a whole lot this year, because he comes from 2A ball or whatever it was, maybe 3A. But I know he played low high school ball. He was playing quarterback at 260-something pounds for his team. and tight ends. Like he was direct snapping all the way down to the goal line. Then they would come in and throw it to him. He was doing everything, kicking for him. He was just at that low level of high school. So he's now having his first year of just focusing on edge rushing, right? So there's a lot of talent in that edge rushing room, in that linebacker room that is young that we haven't got to see this year. So that part's going to come around. So Blake, I'm really excited about what we're building, man, on this side.
Yeah, one quick thing I'll say too is like you see the growth of the defense and these young guys emerging and getting on the field. I don't feel as bad as I did 3 weeks ago. Like I don't feel like we're gonna go to Tuscaloosa and get work now. I don't. I don't think Texas A&M is going to come into Jordan-Hare Stadium and beat us by 3 touchdowns. I could be wrong, but I don't feel that way like I did 3 weeks ago. I feel like our defense is playing their best football, and our offense looked better Saturday night for 3.5 quarters. I get it was Kentucky. But still, I don't want to play that game because we were looking for an SEC win too. So,
right,
and everybody that's on Twitter and you constantly, like some of y'all, I think are the most miserable Auburn fans. Like, I say something positive, and here comes one of y'all, the Auburn finger of doom.
No, that guy's the worst. Yeah,
just got to be so negative, man. Like, so negative. Be proud of these kids. All I said was, hey, they responded. They were in a tough spot. People are calling you the worst team in the SEC next to Mississippi State. People are putting graphics of that out on the internet. Be proud of these kids, man. They responded. They were down 10-0 on the road. They responded. They had a hell of a night. I think they've had a hell of a couple of weeks. So I don't feel as bad as I did earlier in the season. I feel like we're going to compete. Vandy's what, -7 right? +7 right now. They're getting 7 points coming into Jordan-Hare Stadium. So I think Vegas likes us Saturday. I like us. I think we're going to compete these last 4 games, Dustin.
Yeah, I agree with you, and I don't want to overlook ULM, but you should come in and handle your business there. And then I think the other 3 games, the Vanderbilt, A&M, and Alabama are all going to be dogfights. And my hope is now you've learned, and maybe it's a good thing that there was still some mistakes. Maybe it's a good thing that there was that missed field goal from McPherson and the mistake at the end of the first half, because maybe you can look at that and say, hey, we still made some mistakes, but this time we overcame them. It's not like everything just went perfect. So now you got something to fall back on when you do make a mistake versus A&M. When you do make a mistake this week versus Vandy, you can say, hey, calm down.
Yep.
This happened last week. This time we know it doesn't have to be the detriment. It doesn't have to be the sign of things to come. You can stay the course. I think turning around and handing the ball to 27 helps a whole lot of things. It's wild how that works. But yeah, man, hopefully there's some things that you can draw on from this. Let's go ahead and get to some of the comments, a lively chat this evening. Daniel says he turns 23 today. Daniel, happy birthday, my guy. You are 1 day after my birthday. My birthday was yesterday, turned 33. So happy birthday to you, Daniel. I hope you're having a good day, buddy. What you got, brother?
No, I was just going to say happy birthday. I wish I could go back to 23. So.
Yeah, dude, for sure. Yeah. For sure. What was Auburn doing at 10 years ago? What are we in? That was 2014?
Yeah, we were mishandling snaps against Texas A&M around this time of the year.
Scoring 45 points a game, but giving up 42. That was frustrating, And then you got the defense fixed, and then the offense went away. The life of an Auburn fan. But happy birthday, Daniel. We appreciate you always being in here, buddy. Chris says, what's up, everyone? War Damn Eagle, Vandy, ULM, and question mark. I don't know. I'm not going to guarantee the Vandy win. I just don't know. I think it's going to be a toss up, and I'm so scared of that dang Diego Pavia and that Jerry Kill over there. So I don't know, but yeah, winnable game, like Blake said. Vegas has got us favored, and you definitely should handle business over the Warhawks. And I think that I'm hoping, Blake, that last year's situation versus New Mexico State will show this team that they can't overlook ULM, who is a good team with a good defense that plays hard.
Yeah, the Vandy game, I think a lot of guys on this roster have this one circled. And a lot of these young cats that are on here, they didn't play in that New Mexico State game last year, but they've heard a whole hell of a lot about it. So you're going to hear guys like Eugene Asante say, hey, I'm proud of Diego Pavia. I love what he's done. I'm glad he's having a successful season, but it ain't going to be successful Saturday because he remembers that he got embarrassed in Jordan Hare last year. So I think you're going to see a fired up Auburn team. I'm not sure we win the game, but I think you're going to see a fired up defense. We got to cover a tight end Saturday. Their tight end's a freak. I mean, dude's a dog. So it's going to be a task chasing Diego Pavia around, trying to cover that tight end. They do multiple option looks, man. Like their offense is legit. Their offense is really legit. So ULM, I think that's a dub, to be honest. And then the last two, those are going to be dog fights. So.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. We'll definitely preview the Vandy game Thursday, but Hugh talked about in the press conference how last year versus New Mexico State, Pavia and Jerry Kill there didn't even get the ball until 5 minutes ago in the first quarter for the first time. You saw the way they beat Alabama, 45 minutes of possession. Defense going to have to find a way to create some turnovers, get off the field. And, let's do exactly what we did last week. Let's have the ball a whole lot. This game might fly by. If we turn around handing it to Jarquez and they're running their offense efficiently, this might be a little 2-hour broadcast. Auburn Dad for Life says, I pray we can keep Durkin and the defensive staff together. Absolutely, man. Charles Kelly is a guy every year that people are going to come throw money at. Weston and Griff every single year, people are going to come throw money at him. Josh Aldridge, the way he's recruiting and developing guys, I can imagine someone's going to come throw some money at him, maybe a bigger role. He's definitely got to be a hot name out there on the assistant market. But yeah, I agree with the Auburn Dad. I hope we can do it, and I think we'll be able to. But I'm kind of just guessing there. But I would hope that all these guys on this coaching staff would be excited about, like, hey, I want to take all these young cats and see what I can do with them next year.
Yep.
So
I'm with you.
Rigger Spoon says, try not to say anything crazy and make me screw up a deadlift. It hurts. We can't make no promises, big dog. We can't make no promises. Hitting that gym late on a Tuesday night. I see you, brother. Brett says puppies and a recent dog, Jay Crawford. Yeah, Jay Crawford may have came out the womb a dog. He may just came out a full-grown dog, Blake.
Yeah, he did. He's ready to play, man. That dude, he is going to be an NFL player. I'm gonna stick to that. I think he's legit, man. So you're just gonna see more of them grow up. This is a young team. You know, we talked about this team being successful in the preseason, and we wanted them to come out and have a great record and all that. But I'm okay with the growth in the back half of the season. I'm okay with seeing us getting better. Like, I know the record isn't fun, but it's not like I see us getting worse. I see us getting better on the defensive side of the ball. I don't see us there's not as many busted coverages and things like that I would expect from true freshmen in our secondary. Like, it's continuously gotten better each week. And like I told you the other night, Dustin, it ain't like we're coming out here and getting beat by 30, man. Like, I know Oklahoma beat us, and I'm not saying anything about them, all right? Because are we better than Oklahoma? Yes. Did they beat us on a stupid pick six? Yes, they did. But Auburn is better than Oklahoma. Now, Oklahoma, I know they got bit by the injury bug, but they're going out here now and they're getting beat by 30 every Saturday. All right. So at least we're not at that point. We might be 3-5, but we're still battling and we're getting better. And you can see even Cam Coleman, go into the offense real quick. You can even see his growth. Like, I feel like he's turned it up a notch. You don't see the loafing and the missed blocks and things like you're seeing him really dial in and buy in to what's happening in that locker room. So I'm with it, man. I'm with it.
Yeah, he had 4 catches for under 30 yards last night, and he was probably the most excited person on the field
Yeah.
whenever we were kneeing the ball out. So that's good to see. We talk about all these young guys on the defensive side of the ball. Cam, you got to be that guy on the offensive side of the ball. You're the future. You're the
Yep.
future of the offensive side of the ball. You got to start doing and leading like you're that guy. Cool Breeze says Keontae Scott didn't get a snap on defense is saying something. I do know that Hugh said in the press conference that Keontae tweaked his ankle Wednesday, and that led to some communication issues and all this. Blake, I don't think you fully buying that. Don't look like you are.
I don't look. He might be hurt. I'm not saying that.
Right.
He might have some issues with the ankle, but just me, I think is best case scenario that we win a different route, because you can only watch the same movie so many times before you got to switch that thing out. All right, you got you got to go to a different movie, and I say it all the time. When you continuously do something and you're searching for a different result, there you go. That's what it is, and you know he's been sure-handed on punts the last couple of weeks. I'm not mad about him there, but I'm just I'm not buying into that whole thing. So I think this was, hey, you've had a bad year, you've struggled. Let's give somebody else a shot.
Right, absolutely. I hear you, and I mean, and it worked out. Like the defensive backs played great. You just have a lot of young guys back there. I mean, there's just more talented than a lot of the older guys. It is what it is. Justin Williams says, "Man, just imagine if we get offered, Kay and Lee and Drake Crawford will be elite next season." Absolutely, man. I mean, how does Champ Anthony come back? What is a guy like Tyler Scott? I still believe in his potential. It's tough to tear your ACL and all that when you haven't really gotten your reps, but he was playing really well in practice, and we were hearing a ton about him behind the scenes playing good ball. He gets hurt, so yeah, you got a lot of guys there. I know that Antonio Kite, his reps went down, but I think that at the very least, he could be a solid depth piece for you. He's not a guy that if he comes in, I'm like, oh my God, we're cooked. I'm definitely going through that on the pro side right now with my damn practice squad DBs, and I'm just looking out there like Tyreek Thunderbird, huh? Yeah, he's probably about to get cooked, and he does. But yeah, listen, we got a lot of young guys back there, man, that can get in there and make some plays. So yeah, and then if you get offered, listen, don't sleep on my boy Dante, man. Don't sleep on Dante at all. You're starting to see programs like LSU and Ole Miss really come hard at Dante and push and try to get him over there. So yeah, all these guys that we see, same thing with Donovan Starr. Everybody in the country trying to flip Donovan Starr right now from us. So we got a lot of young talented kids in this defensive backfield. And then we just got a whole nother group coming up underneath, and that's always going to be the case with Charles Kelly, like recruiting defensive backs. That you can just get used to this. If Charles Kelly goes and gets a 3-star like Dante Core, just best believe that like he hit on the eval before everybody else did. Like you just got to know what he is. Everyone was asking Devin in the chat what she's cooking for dinner tonight. So Devin made some pizza for the boys, some salmon for her and the husband. Kids are just not sophisticated enough to eat the salmon yet. I hear you, Devin. I hear you. Always in the kitchen whipping up something for the family. Cool Breeze says, pound the rock, run the clock, and hit KLS over the top. A wise man once said that. A wise man once said that. Yeah, bro, pound the damn rock. Let's let it go. Let it go. Like it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Saturday was so beautiful.
My dad said the other night when we were constantly feeding Jarquez, he said Hugh finally woke up and realized that 27 didn't mean your record is going to be 2-7. It meant give the ball to 27, not be 2-7. Give the ball to 27, and it just makes life easier on Peyton, man, when you do that. Just feed your workhorse. And shout out to Damari. I was on his tail earlier this year, running the ball hard, man, keeping it high and tight, protecting the football. Proud of him. Hard work, continues to get better, man. Proud of Zero.
Yeah, if he's got these fumble issues fixed, then I'm looking at this running back room next year with Alvin coming up. Hopefully, you're able to keep Jeremiah and sell
Mhm.
him on a big expanded role with all Jarquez carries going away. So yeah, man, I mean, it could just this running back room. Hopefully, you can just keep restocking it like we always do at Auburn. And on this point, Cool Breeze, isn't this crazy? How you pound the rock and Peyton Thorne finishes the game 15 of his last 16 passes, completing 15 of his last 16. It's wild. It's wild how that works when they got to stuff the box and all of a sudden you can hit KLS over the top. Some of y'all asking where Pops is. Yeah, Pops is fine, man. Probably just hanging out with the wife. Chuck says, I know things may be different play style wise now, but what era year does this Auburn defense is starting to kind of remind y'all of? Well, you tell me, because I'll tell you, my whole life, buddy, for the most part, outside of the 2014 that we just brought up, we played D. So what it's reminding me of is a badass Auburn defense. But I see what you might be talking about, a 2002 situation where Junior Rose Green and Carlos Rogers were getting reps, and then in 2004. So that could be what you're talking about. And if so, I like what you're putting out. But hey,
Yeah.
I like that. I like that boy. That boy from Georgia, man. He thought he was going to come across the middle in 2004, and I don't know if he ever got up off that field. I
That's
don't.
what
He might have.
happens. That's what happens when you talk about family members, man.
Yeah, it gets tough out there. It's tough. Karen says, happy belated birthday. Thank y'all, man. A ton of birthday wishes yesterday on Twitter. And yeah, appreciate you guys. Getting old, Blake. Getting old. Cam Coleman actually decided to throw a couple of blocks on the outside and sprung Jarquez for some long runs. We all know you didn't come to Auburn just to block, but it's part of the job description. Again, going to reference my Buccaneers because everyone knows how good Mike Evans and Chris Godwin are.
Mm-hmm.
You know what else they do? They block their ass off like good NFL receivers do. Scouts take notice of this. You won't last in the NFL if you don't block. That's real. Receivers got to block if they want to play at the next level, Blake.
You know, I wanted to bring up this right here, this comment, because it really kind of flashed to me of somebody else who used to wear the number 8, but he played for the other team in the state and was probably one of the greatest wide receivers that we have gotten to watch in our lifetime. He's from right across the water from me over in Foley, Alabama. And Julio Jones went to Alabama where they were run heavy. They didn't spread it out. They had Greg McElroy as their quarterback, John Parker Wilson, then G Mac. So he didn't go into this high flying offense. And some of the things that were asked of him was to block. You got to block. It's part of the job. Like you said, all the great NFL wide receivers have to block, man. I tell you this, I was watching the Dolphins game Sunday. Now, Tyreek Hill has been very frustrated, openly frustrated about not being able to get the ball. Granted, Tua's out, right? He was with the concussion. He comes back Sunday. They're on the 3-yard line. They can't punch it in running the ball. Can't get it in. So they throw a screen to, I think it was A-Chain. It might have been Mostert, but I think it was A-Chain. And they just get it out to him real quick. Bang. Who do you think the lead blocker was that just absolutely led the path for 4 yards to get into the end zone? It was Tyreek Hill. Just absolutely blew that DB smooth off the ball, bro. I mean, put him on his tail. And I was like, hey, man, that dude gets paid millions of dollars, and he's doing his job. When some of these cats are over here complaining about how they don't get the ball, Stephon Diggs and others, you got to do it. And you see Cam growing up, man. He's starting to do the slimy things where you got to get physical, you got to get in them trenches, and you gotta put your body on the line sometimes and be physical.
Yeah, I love college ball. It's my favorite. College football is my favorite sport, so don't get that twisted. But the NFL is a different quality of football.
100%.
And if you're not doing the little things, you will get exposed. You will get blasted. There will be nobody coming to your defense saying, oh, well, he's a good guy. They don't care. They don't care. It's a results-driven league.
Yep.
It's referred to as a lot of times as a not-for-long league. If you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing, boy, I love KJ Britt. He is rated dead last in the NFL right now for inside linebackers.
Yep.
Guess who will not be on the team next year? KJ Britt. Can't do it. Can't do it.
Look at this. All right. Bryce Young.
Right.
How great he was in college. I mean, all the awards and everything speak for themselves. The way he carried that Alabama team to even make a national championship game. And then he gets in the NFL, y'all. I'm watching the Broncos and the Panthers Sunday. And it's just like, all these people are like, oh, well, he's in Carolina. They're not good. Yeah, they're not good. But not all of that is on everybody else. A lot of it is on Bryce, too, with these errant throws, throwing behind his receivers. Y'all, the window in the NFL, here it is college. Here is the NFL. Okay? It is super tight. And some of these cats think that they can make these throws. And then when they let it go and it gets picked, they're like, "Oh man, I could get away with that in college. I can't get away with that in the NFL." And it's a learning thing, man. So I think what Cam's doing, it's really impressed me because I was starting to get a little aggravated, especially that Georgia game. And I know the score wasn't in our favor, and it seemed like really dark times that Saturday, but you're starting to see them buy in, man, for real.
I think our guy Charlie 5 is in here tonight with the Let's Go. You guys go over there and subscribe to The Barn. If you have not, go over there and sign up for thebarn.com. If you have not, they're doing great work over there. We love our guy Charlie. Hope to have him back on the show very soon. So go over there and support some good Auburn people, man. I'm sure that you guys are. Let's talk about another good Auburn man, Blake. Staying on the defensive side of the ball. Keldric Faulk had 2 more sacks. We talked about in the offseason if he was going to get to double digits. 4 games left. He needs 3 more sacks. He's definitely going to come close. If he doesn't get there, I think he's going to get there. 32 tackles on the year, 9 TFLs, 7 sacks. I just see a guy that's becoming a leader. I see a guy that's reaching his full potential. And I think next year, he is primed to put on one of the better years that we've seen from an Auburn defensive lineman in a long time. And I don't say that lightly because Derek Brown just played at Auburn yesterday. Marlon Davidson just played. I've seen a lot of good defensive linemen in my time being an Auburn fan, man. So that's not something that I would just throw around and say. I understand the history of defensive linemen at Auburn. And I wasn't scared to say this, Blake, before he ever played it down. So I'm not going to be scared to say it now. Keldric Faulk is going to be one of the best defensive linemen to ever play at Auburn, and he's building that resume as we speak.
Whew, yeah, you were always high on him, and hey, like I said the other night, he's lived up to every bit of it. The growth from last year to this year is insane, man. And look, I'll give him 2 more sacks Saturday. I think he gets 2 more in his bag against Vandy. I think this dude has hit a stride where the game has completely slowed down. Remember, he's a true sophomore, y'all. He's a true sophomore. He's still he was that puppy last year that it took him half the season to get going, and then he finally started to get it, and then he'd struggle, and then he'd pick it back up and get going again. But now it's just full head of steam. The game has completely slowed down. He gets it. He's getting to the passer. He's insane, man. His hands are insane. His speed is insane. His knowledge to be so young, his IQ, his football IQ, a lot of people don't think that plays into it. It does. And I'll tell you this, his ability to just play clean, Dustin, to not make stupid mistakes or boneheaded mistakes or pick up 15-yard personal fouls, things like that, that carries weight to me. And you always see Keldric. Like I saw a sack earlier this year where instead of picking the quarterback up and slamming him down, Keldric just laid him down. Because we're in a different era of football, y'all.
Unfortunately.
We're in a different era where, if Big Nick was to play in today's time, he'd have a lot of personal fouls. He'd probably get tossed from a couple games.
Yeah.
And that's just maturity to me for Keldric Faulk. I'm very high on Keldric. Once again, this is another NFL player on Auburn's defense. And like I told you the other night, enjoy him because we get one more year with him. So after next season, he's going to go make a lot of money.
Yeah, committed to Florida State. Didn't even look like he wanted to be committed to Florida State when he did it. He looked like he was reluctantly doing the tomahawk chalk. The hat didn't quite fit,
Mm-hmm.
and I remember watching it and being like, "Boy, if we get a coach in here that can recruit, we gonna bring you home, son." And yeah, we got a coach. We got a coach that recruit, and it didn't take too long. All he had to do was win over Mama, and now you've got little brother on the way next year. And look, I agree with you. Keldrick last year will be next year, but we're already seeing with this staff they can get young guys on the field, and they're
Yep.
getting a young guy like DeMarcus Reddick, a little bit of a different skill set than Jaylin Faulk, but also Caleb does some things to where I think you can get him on the field as a true freshman and rushing the passer. So, yeah, you're definitely going to see the Faulk brothers on the field at the same time next year, and that's going to be a lot of fun, man. So, just, yeah, getting this kid out of Highland home, I think it's going to be one of those things that you look back on and you say, hey, these are one of those moments early in Hugh Freeze's tenure. This is one of those recruiting battles that he was able to get in there and flip him from Florida State that is gonna help propel the Hugh Freeze era, the Hugh Freeze tenure. This is gonna be one of the bigger wins for him in his career. And I just I expect Keldric to finish strong. I expect him to finish strong and receive postseason accolades. And then I cannot wait to see because he's gonna have all the hype in the world coming into next year, and deservedly so. And I think he's gonna be able to live up to all of it. And it's kind of, off the top of my head here, it's been a little bit since Auburn had a defensive lineman that was drafted high in the first couple of rounds. I think our boy Marcus Harris fell way, way too far down the list last year. But Caleb is, I guarantee you that Keldric will not fall. I don't think he'll fall outside the top 50 if all goes well. So just an absolute stud, man. And I want to give the credit to the defensive staff because it's one thing to get the guy, to flip the kid, to get him and all that kind of stuff, but then to also develop. You can get the blue chip guys, but then you got to develop them. You have got production out of Keldric Faulk from game one. From game one, you've got production. And in that time, we've seen the steady growth. We've seen the steady trajectory going up and up and up and up for him. And now he's become one of the best defensive linemen in the SEC, if not the whole country. So really exciting, man. And just kind of the theme of the night here is proof of concept from this defensive staff. Here's a young guy. We played him immediately. Look where he is now as a true sophomore. It's big time, man. It's big time. And then just I don't know what's going to happen with the Auburn offense, and that's not even a knock at anybody coaching the offense or playing the offense. We're just Auburn fans here. We don't know what the hell's ever going to happen with that offense over there. But I think we're building a freaking beast, man. I think we're building a monster on the defensive side of the ball that everybody can be excited for. Our guy Rodney getting in here late with the War Damn Eagle, Bruton, Alabama. I know your TR Miller Tigers getting ready for another state title run, Rodney. We already know, and I think they're definitely going to push for it. So, Malcolm had a good comment here. I can get you in here, buddy. He says that's what an NFL defensive end looks like. Yes, that's exactly what they look like. Just body type. We knew, right, when they took him to SEC Media Days. It's like, oh, he's about to pop. He's about to go off. So listen, guys, we're about to get out of here. Please do us a favor. Hit that like button. Sub to the channel if you have not. Greatly, greatly appreciate it if you do. You can also go over to thewarportshop.com. If I can get the banner out the way, you can see the address. Get you some of that merch. Blake is wearing the shirt right now. I'm gonna get it. Hold on now. I'm gonna navigate it. Here we go. Bang. There it is. And these memberships, Blake, continuing to pop off. Tell the people what they will get if they sign up for this $3.99 a month JV squad. But what you really want to do is you want to play Friday night ball, baby. You want to play Friday night. You want to be on them Thursday nights. You want to be on that varsity squad.
Hey, look, $3.99 a month JV squad. We're about to crank up the members only live chat. We're going to do some basketball content and things like that. Member shout outs, pulling up y'all's comments throughout the live feeds and all that good stuff. Early access to videos, like I said, basketball content is about to be really heavy. The Auburn Tigers are going to hit the hardwood here shortly. But like Dustin said, get over to that Friday night content. $5.99 a month. Varsity Squad recruiting update videos. Got one coming in hot for you. All right, we got a Deuce Night special.
Yes,
Dustin, pump that one out. We're about to upload it as soon as we get off of here. Look, tomorrow morning in your feeds, it'll be there. Game day group chat. It's just a life thing, man. We're here talking everything life, Auburn sports, football, basketball, baseball, whatever you want to talk about. Hell, we talk about Auburn golf in there. All right, we watched them win a natty. Gameplay with you. If you want to link up and play some whatever, man. COD BO6 just come out. So if you want to play some COD, you get up with us. Watch the film Auburn baseball. We're going to be doing some Auburn basketball and Auburn baseball. Watch the films and shout out to Auburn baseball. That new little locker room and stuff that they got, that looks pretty sweet, man. And so hey, get over there, $5.99 a month. We appreciate each and every one of you for joining the Uptempo podcast and being a part of this, watching the numbers grow. Even when we are 3-5 and having the year that we're having, man, you guys, that's why we're thankful, is because you guys continue to show up and be a part of this podcast.
Yeah. I second everything Blake said there. No one thought this team was going to be 3-5, but you guys, and I said this a week or two ago. Only the diehards hang around when things get that dark. So we see you guys. We know that you guys are diehard. We know that you guys are locked in, and the time will come. The time will come when Auburn is good again, and I'll remember those of y'all that walk this dark path with us to get there. It's never fun to get there, but I hope that we gave you guys some hope tonight, at least on that defensive side of the ball, because I think it's legit. Me and Blake wouldn't come up here and just blow sunshine up your ass. That's not how we get down. This defense is really, really building something, man. And I think that you got stuff to be excited for. Last comment that I couldn't agree with more. Rodney said 79 watching, only 29 hit the like button. So come on, let's pump those numbers up. Those are rookie numbers, and we will see you guys Thursday 6. We go live at 6 on Thursdays. Going to preview this Vanderbilt game. Blake, it's going to be another close game in the fourth quarter. Woo.
Yes. One thing about Thursday, we might have to go a little earlier than 6 if that's okay with you, because it's Halloween. So I got to take. I got to take my kids trick or treating.
Yeah, whatever we got to do.
Yeah, we'll figure it out and let y'all know. We'll drop a note in the community section. So check out that. I'll make sure it's all handled. And I know Dustin will throw a tweet out on Twitter and everything, all that good stuff.
Yes, sir. All right, man. Good crowd tonight. Awesome discussion. Appreciate you guys for watching. War Damn Eagle, baby. Got a little momentum. Two's a streak. Let's see if we can put it together. We'll see you guys Thursday, man.
War Damn.